Get your jammies on. Get to this party. Share, share, share. Join, join, join.
Yeah, bro, I'm back, man. Come on, chat. Hey, on God, I ain't got my hair cut and braided. I ain't went to my hairstylist or to my barber in the last 2 months, and some change. So, hey, look, this is my first day
Look
back.
at
I'm
my
feeling
look at my
myself. I went
little
to my
girl coming
hairstylist
out
and
like
my
that.
barber.
Oh, you're so
You know what I'm saying? I
cute.
went to my
You're
hairstylist and
so
my barber. You
cute.
know what I'm
Make
saying?
sure y'all tap and share and
So,
join to have DP
So I'm watching
listen,
TikTok,
yeah, factuals.
Clean
Thank
it
you,
out.
thank you, thank you, thank you.
which is like, I'm on YouTube because YouTube is my
It looks good.
thing.
Thank you.
But
Let
I'm
me pin
watching
that though.
TikTok
Oh my,
because
it looks so
Thank you,
good.
ID. Thank you, Queen K.
sometimes,
Follow
well,
DP if we're
I
not
used to go on
following
there all
already.
the time,
Yeah, that's all I be
but
asking for. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Mojo. What's
the
up,
type of
twin?
work
Feeling
that I
yourself.
do,
What's up, twin? Nah, y'all. This one I'm
I'm
feeling myself.
technically
Look at the
working.
shoulders though.
Welcome.
So,
Look at the shoulders though. That boy, the gains, man. I see him now. I see him. I'm starting to see him now. Day 5.
Good day.
Look at the shoulders.
so a
That boy,
lot of people
yeah.
went
Look at
in
that.
there like, what happened with court
Yeah,
or
Your color
whatever.
black.
Number one, I did
yeah.
not attend. A lot of
Any
people will
color.
be like,
I can
oh,
wear any
that's
color.
bad if you don't attend court.
Thank you, B.
I don't
You
think
know
it's
what I'm
bad that
saying?
you don't attend court
Fatty. I don't know
because
why you trying to come up
I'm
here
being
though,
taken
my
to court
sister.
for
Oh,
fraudulent reason,
you know it's a fee to get up on
and
this
the
motherfucker
people
live. You don't want
involved
to come
are
up on
all
this screen.
frauds.
You gonna have to come up and
Maria,
pockets.
Carlos, Rod, Ryan, you're all
Oh my
frauds.
baby. You want to come up on this
And
motherfucker screen?
I don't see the point in me going
Nah.
to court just to what? Argue for what?
That
I
part.
don't see the
That
purpose of
part.
it. It's just that irrelevant.
Hey, Cam.
So
Thank
what
you,
I did in
Mojo.
His
past
first day of
videos
school.
was I told y'all scattered pieces of what was all going on because it was all messy.
Amanda, now you
You know
know
what I
me,
mean?
Queen. One thing
And
I
I'm
do
just
don't like
like,
talking to y'all about
excuse me, my
is my
sinus is
child. You know
starting
what
to
I'm
kick.
saying? And first,
I'm
and
just
my
gonna be as
child didn't
quickly
have
as
school
possible.
first day today.
I
You know what I'm
was
saying? She's been in school
in
for a
the
month now, but
area
it's
where
all
the
grown folks
place
in here.
that I
I'm
rented
right here.
was
My
at.
daughter ain't in the
I
background
was
yelling
in
or
the area
playing or nothing.
working,
Just don't
but
be
it
worried
was
about my
early,
kids.
so I was on my
That goes
way
for
to
everybody. I
work.
fuck
But
with
I
y'all, but
pit
I don't
stopped
fuck with
and I had
nobody enough to be
breakfast
asking me about my
nearby,
kids. I'm not
and
asking about
I
y'all's.
went into a
You
laundromat
feel me?
nearby, and because it was really really early and
Play
there
that.
was like no
This is the
restaurants
internet.
open,
You
no
know what I'm saying?
latrines
Y'all gotta
anywhere.
protect
So
y'all
I was
kids
just
at all
like, oh my
times. You
gosh,
know what I'm
you know what I
saying?
mean? I was like, I have to tinkle really quickly.
I fuck with you
TMI, but
though.
I'm just being
But
honest. And I saw a
it's
laundromat and I
motherfucking
just went in there.
Tuesday,
And on my way
9 p.m.
leaving,
You know what I'm saying?
I
It's grown.
saw
It's
a
grown folks
poster
time.
board,
Amen.
You know what
community
I'm
board.
saying?
Now,
It
I'm a
Feel you.
it's
business.
grown
I'm a
folks time,
business
chat. You know
entrepreneur,
what I'm saying?
business investor, blah, 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 blah,
We
blah. I
ain't
could
worried about no
go
kids right
You
now.
down the
explained it
list.
right.
Oh, excuse me. I don't drink. I have hiccups
Hey, what's up,
Fine
y'all?
dining on Big
because I was
Jack.
eating and I didn't drink a lot of liquids.
Hey, y'all, let's tap it up though, chat.
And when I did, it was some time ago. You know what? I gotta turn this off
I don't think she meant
because
on go.
I'm gonna get copyright because Tevin Campbell is playing in the background. I just realized that. I like Tevin Campbell's song. I like that song, but if I keep it on, you know what I mean? Anyway, Anyway, so I'm gonna run through it as much as I can. It might jump around a little bit. I'm trying not to, but like I said, it's very quick and it's very direct and it's very honest. I I saw a listing of several different rooms for rent. Some of them were in Spanish, cuarto de rento, whatever, whatever. And I was just like, nah, I'm not gonna try and rent somewhere where the person primarily just only speaks in Spanish because, you know, then I'm gonna have to speak Spanish to them. And I'm like, I don't wanna do that. You know what I mean? We're in America, we're gonna speak English. And I was just like, I don't wanna do that. So I was just like, I will go and only take the ones that are like English or more are Duolingo, like they have it English and they also have it Spanish. Hi, how you doing? It's pajama party time. In case if you don't know, if you don't have on your PJs, put your PJs on. We having a sleepover and we are having pajamas on right now. We is talking about the tea. And if you can't put your PJs on, that's okay. You still invited to this party because it's virtual, so it's sleepover time, and that's what we're doing. It's pajama party time right now. And so I took all a bunch of numbers and I text all of them the exact same message, like, I just want to know the room for rent. Da, 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 da. At the time, I was working two different jobs, including running my business, and I needed to be, excuse me, in like a remote location so that way I would be able to get proper sleep. What I could have done, which I'm not a person that regrets things, but I was like, I could have just stayed in hotels. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, I'm like, right now, I'm just like, girl, you should have just stayed in hotels. You're a travel agent, you're a travel advisor, you are a travel specialist. You could have made money and saved a freaking headache. Like what I'm going through right now is a total headache, y'all. So anyway, I'm trying to run through this as much as possible. Hi to everybody that's saying hi to me. It's shout out to Anthony. Shout out to some random guy. Shout out to Romeo Short. All of y'all. Y'all got y'all shout out. This is a pajama party. If you don't know, make sure y'all got your jammies on. It's a pajama party. And so this is what we do at pajama party. We be talking. We be. This is what we talking about. So I called, and then most of the people didn't respond. A couple of people responded that the rooms that they were renting were rented, and then I got a response saying that it's still available, and I was like, yay! Sometimes you never give up. Boom, bam, dip. I was really happy. I was like, yay, 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 because I was just like, whatever. I had the money to just stay in rooms, but I really personally just wanted the basically like a more stable environment. And I thought I was getting like, what is it called? What are those rooming houses? Like rooming house where you are in a house and there are other people who are renting a room and you have a shared living things. You could share the kitchen, you share the bathroom, you share the living spaces, and everybody moves at their own time, and you know what I mean. That's what I thought I was getting myself into. And I have stayed at one before, and I paid like seven something. I had a huge room, I had a walk-in closet, and I had a full bathroom, and I had two people living with me in that room. So, and that wasn't too long ago. So I'm just like, why did this have to be the way that this is? And I was there for like 4 years. I did really great there. So anyway, I let the person know, that I wanted to see the place. I was told we're going to go see the place. Got to see the place, and while I was there, I met a woman named, and when I met her, I I told God that I wasn't going to speak no more of these people after today. I'm not speaking about them anymore. I'm going to do what I have to do, and I'm not speaking about them anymore. I pray blessings on people. I don't gotta wish no evil upon you. I'm gonna pray you be blessed. I'm gonna pray that God will bless you to have the money that you need so that you don't do this kind of stuff. Bring random people in and then try to swindle them out of their money after you say don't pay or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna pray that you are blessed to not have to do that to anybody else in your life ever again or anything worse. Because I could sit here and I could be like, wow, 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 wow. No, 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 no. So anyway, I came here to the room and I got to see it, and she's telling me that she lived a couple cities over or the next city over for like 20 years, and that she just moved here a year ago, and that her lease was up at the end of the month, and that she wanted to renew the lease. She said, I'm considering it. So I was just like, so are you renting or are you not renting? And she's like, well, yeah, I am. And I was like, okay. And then she's like, well, I wanted to know if you could stay for 1 to 2 years. And I'm like, oh no. I was like, I was thinking 3, maybe 6 months. I was like, not. I was like, honestly, the longest I would stay is 6 months. And she was like, well, can you just stay for at least 1 year? And I was just like, no. Like, I definitely can't stay for 1 or 2 years. That's a bit of a stretch. Mind you, the room is extremely small. You could probably fit a king size bed in here and in there and have very little walking space. If you know what the size of a king size bed is, it's it's pretty sizable, but when you consider walking space and excuse me, and the other space that's needed to function as a human being, it's not a big space. So she ran down the criteria for moving here. She told me first that it was $800 over the phone. She asked me like what kind of job I did. I told her the type of work I do. I told her I do stay in federal contract work and that I work for at the time the World Hockey League, that I cook as a cook, and that I have my own business, and I'm a professional in many industries for other professionals, basically. You know what I mean? So I let her know like I'm a I'm a I'm an all around person, and she seemed comfortable. She told me she felt comfortable letting me be here, and I was like, okay. So she said these are the rules. She told me I could use the backyard, have parties, cookouts. Why, I don't know, but she told me that. She said I could bring company over, but I had to first let her know ahead of time. She told me that I can only use the bathroom and that I can use the microwave in the kitchen. And then she said, well, you can cook, but just make sure that you clean up behind yourself, but try to just use the microwave only. Anybody who knows me knows I don't like microwaves at all. I hate microwaves. So I'm just looking at them like, and mind you, I take full accountability of my own BS. I want you to understand that for me, this is my fault. I should not have come here. I should not have come to that room. I should have not gone there. That's how I'm looking at it. I should not have come there. So at no point am I blaming this person that I'm talking about, this woman that I'm talking about. I'm not blaming her at all because I'm taking accountability of my own BS. I shouldn't have come. I should have just been like, nah, this is not gonna work for me, and I should have just went about my business. No, I was short on time, and I decided, you know what? Before 3 months, or at least before 6 months, I'll be out of here. I don't have to worry about it. That's what I was thinking, like when I was in there talking with her. And so I was just like, I don't like the fact that I have so many restrictions. I'm just like, oh, and there's two doors. There's two entrance doors. There's a front door and there's a side door. She also instructed me that I could only enter through the front door, that I could not use the side door. I was like, okay. She says, I'm going to write a lease and I'm going to give it to you tomorrow. I'm going to give you the keys today. And she was like, she got a little more personal, and she was like, well, since like you work 2 jobs, and she was like, and because I had my sister and her boyfriend living here before you, they didn't pay me any rent and they just left. And she was like, and I also had people staying here before that and they did the same thing. They didn't pay me no money, they just left. And I was just like, okay. She was like, so since they did that, I'm going to charge you a security deposit. So I'm looking and I'm like, wow, that's fucked up. Pardon my French, but I'm like, damn, like, so because they fucked you over, I have to pick up the slack? Wow. And that was not what she told me on the phone. She told me it was $800. Now all of a sudden it's $1,600. I'm like, okay, who do you know wants to pay $1,600 just to be in a small space that you're really not gonna really occupy in the first place? So I left it alone. I was just like, so I told her, I was like, I don't think it's gonna work. I told her, I was like, I'm not gonna be able to give you that kind of money. Um, and then she was like, hold on a second. And she got on the phone, and I heard her talking to a man, and she was speaking in Spanish, but I could understand what she was saying. She was just like, yes, the lady came, and she's really nice, and I want to rent the place out to her. And I told her yes, but she said that she doesn't have the money to pay me that, and that she could give it to me little by little. And so I'm going to tell her yes. That's basically what she said. Because I told her, I was like, the only way, prior to she making the call, I told her the only way I would be able to give her a $800 move-in fee plus a $800 security deposit would be, financially, the only way I could do it would be in increments. I was just like, at the time, because I knew my responsibilities. You understand where I'm coming from? I'm like, I knew what I needed to tend to, and I knew the reason that I needed to and preferred finding like a room for rent versus going and getting a hotel. You see what I'm saying? Or a motel. You know what I'm saying? And I don't do Airbnbs. I've never done Airbnbs. I've just seen too many creepy stories about people being host and still being in the house and being like this. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, ugh. I was like, I don't really want to be in that type of an environment. You know what I mean? So she got off the phone and she was like, okay. She was like, that was my son's father. And so I was just like, oh no. I was just like, there's like other people that live like that live here aside from you. And she was like, well, yeah. She was like, well, this is my son's room. So I'm thinking that her son is away at college, because she was like, the reason that I'm doing this is because my the school I'm sending my son to, it's expensive. So I'm thinking, oh, she has a son and he's away at college and she's renting out his room. I'm with the impression this is her home at that point. I'm not thinking nothing else, because she presented it like, oh yeah, you can do this and you can do that, and you can't do this and you can't do that. And I'm like, okay. And she was like, and also no smoking, and also no drinking. And she's like, well, we could drink, but like just like one or two drinks. She's like, cause we drink like one or two drinks. And I was just like, I don't drink, I don't smoke. So I was just like, so you don't have to worry about me. And I said, and I don't entertain people at my house. I said, in all of the places I've ever lived, I really don't bring people to my house. Every now and again, but I was like, this is not gonna be one of those scenarios. I said, and I honestly, um, plan to leave sooner or by 6 months. Excuse me. And I'm gonna be very transparent with y'all. I was getting ready to take a different role, because I was just like, this is kicking for me. Like, I don't want to live like that. I don't like being cooped up. I'm a very private person, and I don't like being cooped up. I don't like this kind of environment for myself. So I was like, whatever. And anyway, she said that it was just her who lived here, and her daughter, her dog. And then she was like, well, my son's dad, he just comes here every day and take my son for soccer practice. So I was just thinking, like, I thought she said her son was away at some school that she's paying for. So I was just like, I don't know if I want to do this. I was like, it sounds like she's lying or something. I was like, it doesn't make sense what she's saying. And so I was just like, are you sure that you mean? She was like, yeah. She was like, go ahead and get your things. You can come back tonight. I was like, seriously? And she didn't take no money. She told me she was gonna write out the lease, give it to me the next day. She told me she was giving me the key that night, and she told me to go get my things. And she told me that she did want to still do a $1,600 financial transaction that basically, and these are my words because I speak real bourgeois. She wasn't using these big ass words. She was using very basic, plain English. But this is how I talk because I'm very highly educated and I'm a high intellect. So I kind of don't talk real stupid unless I want to act stupid. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's what she did. She told me like, yeah, go get your things and you can move in tonight. I had to go all the way to Woodbridge because I had things to do, and I was just like, yeah, I got stuff to do, but I'll be back. I said I probably won't be back till like midnight or 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever. She was like, it's okay. Okay, boom. I went, grabbed a couple of things I needed, went and did what I needed to do. Da, 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 made my way back. It was a rainy, nasty, messy day, and I had to take like 2 buses or so, but I got back. Rang the bell, came in, got settled or whatever, and oh yeah, and she also was just telling me like, yeah, you also these things she was telling me on my way coming in. She was like, yeah, you can get a bed and put in here. There's a refrigerator in here. You can use the refrigerator. There was a dresser, a table, all there were little odds and ends in there, and she was basically telling me I could use them, and I was just like, she was like, or I could take them out the room, and I was like, you could take it all out. I was like, I'm not gonna use the fridge. I was like, I'm not gonna use the table. I'm not gonna use any of this stuff. I was like, I don't need it. But she didn't. She didn't take none of the stuff out. She left it in the room. So I was just like, and so I came back. Like I said, I came back, and with my first job, with the pay that I was gonna use to start paying her, you know what they did? They sent my paycheck to another employee. So I had to get a paper check instead of direct deposit. And I was being transparent. I was letting her know like, y'all, there's this little, there's this little stipulation I'm having at work. And she was like, oh, it's okay. She was like, it's okay. She was like, don't worry. So I was just like, okay. I was like, I really appreciate it. And I said, and I told her, I was like, but I was like, it's going to be like 400, 200 or 400 every week until it gets to 1600, and then by the time the next month rolls around, I'll be able to just boom give you the 800. I said, but I need to know where you're gonna hold my deposit. I need it in writing. I said, I need that documented, where you're gonna hold my deposit, the bank, whose name, all of that stuff. I said, I need all of that in writing before I give you my deposit. And she said, okay. Days later, no paperwork, just a bunch of texts basically demanding for me to communicate with her. And I'm like, is she trying to have me come because she needs like a friend or something? I'm like, what? What is like, like if anyone's ever been in a rooming house, if you've ever been in a rooming house or you've ever been like a room for rent, it's cut and dry. You come and go as you need to go, and you pay the rent, and you don't interact with your landlord in between unless it's residentially based, like, oh, there's a leak or something broken, you know what I mean? You don't, it's not like, oh, hey, how you doing, and talking and talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. So she's texting me, and the type of work I do, I'm just like, I can't be on my phone. You know what I mean? Like certain assignments, certain tasks, certain things I'm doing, or certain roles that I'm in. I can't be on the phone yapping and just talking about nothingness, or talking about how you want the money and you want the money, but you told me take my time. So when I got my paycheck, I went and got a money order because I wanted documentation, because I was just like, she never gave me the lease paper that she told me she couldn't write up. So I was just like, I was like, I was like, I guess I should leave. I was like, so I asked her, I said, do you want me to leave? She was like, no. She's like, you're fine. And I was just like, are you sure? I was like, because you didn't give me the paper, or, you didn't, everything you keep telling me you were going to do, you haven't done. And I was just like, so, like, it makes me think that you don't really want me to stay. And she was like, no, you can stay. And I was like, okay. And thanks y'all for coming to my sleepover, by the way. It means the world to me. And so I was just like, I was just like, it was beginning to get more and more confused. And then all of a sudden, she's like, boom. She's like, oh, I want to put you on my lease. And I was like, put me on her lease? And I was like, why would she put me on her lease? But she told me she was gonna write me a lease. And so I told her, I said, no. I was like, I don't want to get on anyone's lease. I don't want to get on anyone's lease. I'm like, I don't know them from a can of paint. Why would I get on a lease with them? I was already weary. Like, why am I gonna stay with them? But I told myself, I was like, you lived at shelters. You've lived at, you know what I'm saying? You went camping. You've lived outside. You've been around strangers. I'm like, what could be more stranger than this shit? That's how I'm looking at it. I'm like, what could be more stranger than that shit? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. This all is strange. So I'm just like, ugh. Mind you, when I came back the first night, I came to learn that the door, it doesn't even have a private lock. No bolts, no key, no private nothing. So these people and anyone who comes in this property could just open the door and come in. It's a slit lock. A slit lock is like you can stick your coin or a fingernail or a butter knife or something and just turn it, and the slit turns up and you can just open the door. And I'm just like, there's no security in that. And I'm just like, how is this supposed to be private? How is it even legit? I'm like, how is it even legit? So because I was weary, I was trying to like speed up. I was just like, I don't want to wait 6 months. I was like, I'm trying to get out 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. I was like, I'm trying to get the F up out of here. I was like, I don't like it. I was like, I don't like the fact that it's breakfast time, and I walked past the kitchen one time and she has the whole kitchen. She's using every single space, and I'm just like, well, technically all human beings, the majority, like the average human being who has breakfast, they all have breakfast at the same time. They all have lunch at the same time. They all have dinner at the same time. So I'm just like, how am I supposed to occupy even a portion of the space? She's using every space whatsoever. So I just started saying, you know what? I am not gonna be petty. I'm just gonna go out and buy my breakfast. I don't care. So now I'm buying my breakfast, I'm buying my lunch, I'm buying my dinner, and I'm not cooking in the kitchen. I'm not even using the kitchen for nothing. So I'm gonna be charged to pay for stuff I'm not even using. I was just like, I just gotta get out of here. Like, it's just crazy. Then all this time goes by, and I start to wonder, because she asked me to get on her lease. I said, does your landlord know that I'm here? She wouldn't answer me, because I originally thought she was the landlord. So when she said she wants me to get on it, I was just like, she wants me to get on the lease. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And I was just like, no. I told her no. I was very honest and upfront. I was like, no, I don't want to get on the lease. And it turned out that her son lives here. He's a little kid. Her daughter lives here. She's like I don't know, I guess she's a teenager or like a college age young adolescent adult. You know what I mean? And then, it's a couple times that I've been in the room and I could hear a man, at the door, but not in the house. You know what I mean? I could hear from afar. So I wasn't presuming that that's the kid's dad she was talking to or about. But I never, like I said, I never met this guy. The guy who was taking me to court is her kid's dad. How are you taking me to court and I don't even know you? I literally have never met him. If he's ever been here, I've never met him. If you ask me what he looks like, I do not have a motherfucking clue, because I've seen men and women in here. Not a man, not a woman, but multiple. And I don't know who none of the motherfuckers are. If you must know, I don't know who they are. So I can't tell you. I can't begin to tell you. She's never said cordially, Shantae, this is so and so, so and so, this is Shantae. Never. But they were knocking at my door one day. Now, mind you, she said to me, before they came knocking on my door, she said to me, I had came home one day and I was coming from work and I had to get some rest so I could go to my night job, and I was getting my rest, and she said to me, she's like, she was like, the landlord, he's not really bothering me for the money. She was like, he is not really bothering. She was like, I was just saying that. And I was just looking and I was just like, what is going on here? I was just like, is this like a prank or something? And I'm just like, I'm looking for a hidden camera. Like, I'm just like, is this like some new mess going on? So I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, what is she talking about? First, she told me that the landlord was coming in because I kept telling her I wanted to meet the landlord. So all of a sudden, the landlord's coming, and so she said that the landlord did come, and then she told me that the landlord's not pestering me for any money. So I'm just like, well then what's the deal? Like, I had literally had blocked her. I blocked her on both of my phone numbers, not one, but both of them, because she just kept calling my phone, texting my phone, calling my phone, texting my phone, and then whenever I reach out to her, she don't respond nothing, and I just like, I don't know what's going on. So this one day I was in the room and I was laying down and I was getting my rest so I could get back up and go out to work. I was in my pajamas and I was laying down, and don't you know, I hear the door. Like, I was like, you know how you're like coming out of your sleep because you can hear something? I heard the door unlock and then the door boom, just burst open. It's her and a guy. Now, I didn't see them, I heard them, and they hurried up and closed the door. And then, like, moments later, they did it again. They turned the knob, bust in the door, and then, like, I didn't move because I was thinking to myself, like, if I gotta hurt somebody up in here, I'm gonna hurt somebody up in here, because I didn't know who it was, because they also just leave the door unlocked all the time. I'm just like, what the hell? I know we in a township, but what the fuck are you doing? Like, this is 2025. Motherfucking criminals go everywhere. They don't. Do you think they just stay in the urban area? They go every fucking where. They look for people that do vulnerable shit like that. So, oh, I forgot I got ice. I gotta hurry up. This sleepover about to be over because I got ice. It's waiting for me. And so, anyway, real quickly, because I'm at the end of it, end of the story. So she told me that prior that there was no rush. She told me I could take my time, and I was just like, I told her I appreciated it. And then the day that they burst in, I was just like, yeah, this gotta stop. I was like, because, like, first of all, you're not respecting the fact that I need sleep. You're not respecting the fact that I'm not your family member. I'm not your friend. You know what I mean? You don't just boom. I'm just gonna bust in the room. So they're out the door and they're like, Shantae, come on, come out. We want to talk to you. Da, 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 da. And I'm just like, who the heck is these people at the door? You know, it's us. Come to the door. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, pick up the phone, call the police. I'm like, yeah, da 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 da. So the police come, and they have a conversation. Basically, they were just letting them know what they can and can't do. They were like, regardless to what y'all are saying, regardless of what she's saying, y'all just, it's certain things you just can't do. Now, me personally, I feel that they should have gotten cited for disorderly conduct. I feel that the officers probably chose not to because I was being calm and they were being pretty calm. I guess, I don't know, because I wasn't where they were talking, but I gathered we all were behaving ourselves, and I guess they figured, less paperwork, less headache, and of course it keeps that ratio down. So I'm like, whatever. I'm like, that shit was disorderly. That shit was unethical. It was unprofessional, and it was a violation of my tenant's right, regardless whether they is or isn't the landlord. You violated my rights. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, but who cares about my rights, right? Who cares? Who gives a fuck? So I'm just like, whatever. Like, you're comfortable. Eventually, get some rest, and then whatever. In the days to come, we don't speak. I don't talk to her. I don't say nothing to Marina. No, 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 no. Then out of nowhere, I'm on my way going to work one night, and I have my headphones on, and I'm walking out, and I didn't see her, but she came up behind me, and she's like, Shantae, because I had my headphones on. And so I stopped and I turned around, and before I could walk out the door, she looked worried. She looked really, really worried. Like, usually she has a very, she seemed like she's either like neutral, or she just like, hey, like, kind of bubbly. But this time, this was like, she was just like distraught, like, and I was just like, what's the matter, and she was just like, she pulled out this letter, and she didn't show me. She was like, the landlord found out that you're here. And I was just like, but I thought the landlord knew that I was here. And she's basically telling me like, um it's you have to go. And the reason why she's telling me I had to go is because it was putting her and her family at risk of having to go. So she was basically trying to say, like, can you just leave? And so I was just like, well, I was like, yeah. I was like, but I told her I can't just pick up and just jump off. Like, I work. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, and y'all have to understand, I would work nearly an 8-hour shift, and that's not talking travel. And then I would get back, get maybe 2 hours of sleep, maybe, and then go do a 10-hour shift. And then sometimes I'd have to come back, get dressed, whatnot, no sleep, and go do another 6, maybe 8-hour shift, and then go back after showering, whatever, and go do a 10-hour shift. Like, I literally was. So you have to understand, I really had very little leeway to run around and do extra stuff, or to do this or to do that. So for me, I was just like, yo, are you serious? You just think I could just pick up and just like levitate to another spot? I wish I could teleport my ass somewhere. I definitely wouldn't be here going through this fiasco. And so she basically was just like, I was like, I have the money. I was like, if that's what this is about. And she was like, no, I don't want the money. I just want you to go. She was like, I was like, okay. I was like, are you sure? I said, because I could still go. Because I tried to pay her the first time. And the very first time that I tried to pay her, she told me she didn't want the money. She wanted it all cash, no money order. And I was just like, well, I'm not doing it. I was like, you didn't give me no lease. You didn't tell me where you're going to keep my security deposit. I was like, you didn't do anything. So why would I put cash in your hand, not knowing what, you know what I mean, when I leave, that you're going to give me back my security or whatever. So I was like, until we can meet eye to eye, I'm not. I was like, or I'll just leave. I said, I'll give you money for the time I stay here, and I'll leave. And she was like, no, I want you to stay. She insisted. But when this letter came into play, then it was, just go. And I was like, do you want the money? She said, no. She said, I don't want the money. She was like, just go. She's like, I just want you to go. I said, well, I can't leave right now. I'm on my way to work. I was like, but I will leave according to what we agreed on. And she was like, okay. That was the last conversation she and I had. Last conversation for months. And I had something happen in my family that like I said, I don't need to publicize that, but something happened in my family, and I was in the midst of transferring because I knew that I couldn't stay here any longer because we had agreed that I would leave 3, possibly 6 months, and I was getting close to that time. So I was just like, it's fine. I can just go, and I'll just have to like leave my work behind, all the people I've connected with, all of the cases in my residence and things like that. I just have to leave it behind because of this petty BS, which I wish, again, I take accountability. I wish I just didn't come here, because if I didn't come here, I could just say things were really good. Things was really flowing. Things was really flowing. Now it's just messy. It's just like, ugh. So anyway, sleepover party, y'all. So unfortunately, we really had no more dialect, no more no conversation. But then I got approached by this guy Rod. When it was like within the same week or so, I was coming back from work, my overnight job, and he approaches me on the porch. Now, the video that I have loaded up here, you don't catch the first part of the conversation where he was being extremely derogatory. When I told him I was going to record him, and he was like, "Oh yeah, 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 that's fine," because I told him before I recorded him, and I also was talking when I recorded him, like, "Oh, I'm going to record you," da 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 da. And he's like, "Yeah, that's fine." When I came up to the step, he was like, "Who are you?" And I turned around looking like, what, nigga? Bitch, I'm gonna hood. You watch your motherfucking mouth, bitch. Like, on some real life shit. I will, that bourgeois shit could go out the motherfucking door. Give a fuck who you are, where the fuck you from, bitch. So I'm looking and I'm like, who are you? And he's like, I'm the owner, and I believe you're trespassing. I said, "Oh, you believe I'm trespassing?" I said, "Hold on one second. I'm about to record this conversation." And he said, "Okay, that's fine." And that's then when you see me recording more on the video, that's what happened. That's what transpired. And basically, he accused me of trespassing, and I'm telling him, "How am I trespassing?" Y'all just gotta look through it because I'm not gonna re-chant it. But I'm like, how you gonna say I'm trespassing when she invited me here? Your tenant invited me here. I'm not doing anything illegal. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, and the crazy thing is, I'm not no visitor. She told me coming in here, just say that you're my friend on God, on my life right now. And I don't swear. She told me, just say that, just tell them that you're my friend. And I was thinking, like, who, her kids? Now that this all have happened, now I get it. These people who never was knowing that I was really here. So now he's and you see in the video, he's confused. He didn't know that she had me here, and he also didn't know that she was trying to collect money. I never gave her nothing because I was just like, nah, yo. I was like, mm-mm. But once she told me not to give her no money, that was it. I was just like, all right, I'm gonna get out of here, and ba 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 ba. So out of nowhere, she spoke to me like 3 weeks ago. She spoke to me 3 weeks ago. I was in the kitchen, and she was like, "Hey, Shantae," and I turned around. I was surprised because we hadn't spoken months, like literally since that day. We didn't spoke. Matter of fact, let me backtrack. We did speak one more time. It was in early June, and I was, like I said, I was coming home, coming back here to the place that I had rented out, and I was going through something with my family. Like I said, I don't need to televise it, but it was um it was a night where I was ordered pizza because I didn't eat the whole day. Literally, I didn't eat the whole day. I didn't want to eat. And I was just like, I was like, I'm finally getting an appetite. Me order me some food. So I went and I picked up my pizza from the door and came up, and then she's like, she wanted to talk to me, so I recorded that conversation. And that's the conversation where her daughter, or her, I don't know, I think her daughter called the police because she was upset that the camera was on her for like 2 seconds or whatever. And I'm just like, whatever, like, and I was just like, whatever. But at the end of the day, there was she was trying to guilt trip me. She was trying to guilt trip me to make me seem like she was trying to make it seem like I was just deliberately not trying to pay her. And I'm just like, she told me not to pay her. Now you see me getting pizza, and so I'm like, wait, you think I'm supposed to get pizza and give it to y'all when you go in the kitchen 3 times a day, you cook? You don't ever be like, oh, hey, Shantae, I'm cooking, would you like something, or nothing like that. So why should, if I buy pizza, I'm supposed to now dish out my pizza to you? No. You don't get to take. And I'm just like, it doesn't work like that. So no. You told me you wanted me to go, and so I'm doing what I need to do so I can go. You gotta respect the process. And so If you watch the video, y'all could go and watch it because I really don't want to recant it. It's a waste of my time. It's a waste of my valuable, beautiful life. So I'm not going to waste no time talking about it much more. Like I said, after today, I'm not talking about it no more. We'll send in whatever, do whatever process, excuse me, got the hiccups, whatever process I need to do, and then it's over with. I'm not going to be harping on it because it's irrelevant. You know what I mean? It's irrelevant. And like I said, you gotta let people be them. That's how they function. That's how they function. It's just not how I function. And so I was just like, oh well. I was like, oh well. I'm just going to do what I gotta do and get the f about their little house. And then I was just like, whatever. And so, like I said, so excuse me, that was the last conversation that we had was when she called the police or whatever because I was like, after that, I was just like, oh, I definitely don't need to talk to none of them. I was like, they're bugging. I'm like, either they're all in on it or people are lying to cover their tracks and they're just trying to put it back all on me. So that way I look like I'm the one being the problem. And I'm like, I'm not being no fucking problem. I'm minding my motherfucking business per usual. Like anybody know me, he's like, yo, Shantae is the most I'm the most neutral motherfucker you or me. I'm like, yeah, you keep your shit over there, you keep your shit over there. I ain't got nothing to do with it. Seriously. So I'm just like, whatever. Anyway, I don't like to curse, but sometimes when I get a tad bit agitated, the curse words start slipping out like a sailor. But I was like, whatever. It is what it is, and that's all that it is. I'm not gonna make no matter of it. And so, 3 weeks ago she had spoke to me when I went in the kitchen and she was like, hey Shantae, and like I said, I was surprised because she was in a really bubbly interactive mood, and she was just like, yeah, my sister is moving or something like that. She was saying, I really didn't hear her because she went from speaking like high to speaking quietly. She was just talking like a whole bunch. She was just like, yeah, and da 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 da. And I was just like, oh, first of all, I was tired as fuck, so I was just like, I was like, okay. I was like, all right. But basically, she was telling me that the dresser in the room, she wanted to get it. And so I was like, oh, yeah, of course. I was like, do you want me to, like, bring it out tonight? Or you want to bring it out in the morning be better? And so she was like, the morning. The morning would be better. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, because I'm not using it. I haven't used it since I've been here. I was like, so it's not like I have to empty anything out. I was like, so if you do need me to bring it out tonight, guys, just let me know. And she was like, no, it will be better for tomorrow. I was like, okay. I was like, so fine. I was like, I'll just put it out in the morning, which I did. The next morning, I brought before 8 o'clock. I made sure that the dresser and the piece, boom, it was out. And that was it. And then, like I said, one day I happened to be going to the store and got the information about court, and it has not Maria's name on it. It has, I guess, the dad to her father, a little bit of the dad to her child. And I'm just like, I don't even know him. I didn't make no agreement with him. I made no agreements with him. I made no oral contract with him. I made no nothing with him. And it's fiction. And I'm just like, she told me not to pay her. And now I called their attorney, Ryan, annoying ass, and he gonna get all smart on the phone. And I'm just like, he accused me of trying to live for free. Now let me just set his ass straight, because I was about to go the fuck off on that video, on that phone call, but I said, no, I don't need to say it to you that way. I'm gonna say it to you the way I want to say it to you. First of all, motherfucker, if I wanted to live for free, I know a shitload of people that I could call up who would let me live for free. But let me tell you something. I always pull my motherfucking weight. Don't ever disrespect me. Don't ever fucking accuse me of trying to be a fucking freeloader. Because I've never been a freeloader. Not one day in my fucking life. Even in this situation, I have not been a fucking freeloader. So watch your motherfucking mouth. Don't let the fact that you're an attorney make you think that you're somebody spectacular. Because you're not. You're a fucking asshole. Your mom's a fucking asshole for having you. Real shit. Is you dumb talking about something. What do you want to do? What do you think you can live for free? What? Did I say that or did you say that? You said that. I never said that I wanted to live for free. So guess what? Watch your motherfucking mouth before I get an attorney to eat you the fuck up in court. I'm being nice by not doing that. But I really could pull my motherfucking strings and let someone eat your ass up in court. You and your raggedy ass plaintiffs. Goodbye.